Arbiter Rao has been admitted to the ship. This unit will proceed with a Protectorate Welcome Protocol, which may include burning, prodding, and/or light electrical shocks. Agent Ibarra refers to this as somatic tolerance testing and really funny. Readying database. Which member of the incognito would you like assessed? Agent Ibarra has resumed regular exercise and no longer requires hourly provocation to move. These are all strong indicators of improved mental health. Agent Ibarra's lack of motion was becoming a cause for concern. However, this unit maintains full confidence in his resiliency and current combat readiness. Trooper Silong's defection from Auntie's Choice makes her a prime candidate for full recruitment into the Earth Directorate. Please review the requirements for joining the Earth Directorate with Trooper Silong at your earliest convenience. This unit also recommends highlighting the posthumous benefits. Arbiter Rao shows a ready commitment to serving Arcadia. However, his loyalty to you is still under assessment. If forced to choose between this crew and the Protectorate, there is a higher than average chance he will defy you, Commander. Under such circumstances, this unit advises inflicting damage to his knees first to reduce mobility. Agent Delgado has asked that this unit not provide unauthorized updates on her aptitude or well-being. She instead requests that anyone wishing to form an opinion of her speak with her directly and within striking distance. Agent Delgado has also asked that the following addendum be provided. That last portion was a joke, to some degree. Multiple warnings have been issued to Deputy Agent Leitinger regarding knife safety, and all have gone ignored. This unit is ready to answer any and all queries. This unit is available to...
This ship is certainly quaint. The grease stains and thrice retrofitted pipes give one the thrilling impression that the ship might burst into flames at any moment. I suppose there's something charming about its lived-in nature. Nevertheless, I have availed myself of the ship's cleaning supplies. Unsightliness is an enemy as sure as any other. Certainly, I consider myself an open tome. Who amongst our motley assortment would you care to discuss? I find Agent Ibarra most curious. His system of values differs from my own, but not so much as I would expect. I look forward to understanding him better. He faces an interesting dilemma as an isolated member of the Earth Directorate. As do you, of course. I hope you both remain steadfast to your values. She is an endearing piece of engineering. Her continued functionality, despite her advanced age, speaks to a skilled caretaker, though she retains certain quirks. Earlier, she bumped into my head, bleating, "Please do your part to keep the incognito clean. Remove any and all foreign mineral deposits." She is an enemy combatant, and were I not in your command, I would be honor-bound to bring her low. Yet, she is also oddly intriguing. She does not possess the scavenger's appetite of her colleagues. Perhaps if I came to know her better, I might, find techniques to use against her fellows. Her decision to break from the corporatists is impressive indeed. I merely hope it does not muddy the waters of her resolve. Marisol possesses a calculating resolve that has nothing to do with mathematics. Had I anything to fear from her, she would have struck already. I can work alongside her, but I shall keep my guard high nonetheless. I have absolutely no inkling whatsoever why you would choose to bring a deranged cultist aboard. Azaz's kind plagued Arcadia even before the invasion. To be forced to call her colleague is almost more than I can bear. I can only hope she does not see it fit to pilot our ship into a rift to sate her own macabre ambitions. Verily, idle gossip hardly suits an arbiter anyhow. Quite well. I am able to uphold justice wherever it may flag, bolstered, of course, by your steady support. Was there more in this vein you wish to discuss? She taught me all that I know. Her teaching style was stern, but enlightening. If ever I erred, she would teach me to avoid making such a mistake in the future. Though she did not raise me from infancy, I was brought into her tutelage quite early. I spent a great deal of my life looking up to her. Her death weighs leaden on my shoulders. We must find her killer and bring them to justice, lest justice in Arcadia truly fall to ruin. Why, he is of the matriarch's direct lineage. Only he possesses the understanding to lead us all. Someone not matriarch ordained would bring the Protectorate to ruin. May his leadership of Arcadia last for many years. I hope someday to be party to his glorious presence. If I had one wish, it would be that he leaned less upon the Consul's guidance. The Sovereign alone knows what is best for Arcadia. Meddlers should not be abided. In every respect, save being humans, and perhaps even that is arguable in the Sentinel's case. Where arbiters uphold justice and loyalty within the Protectorate, the Sentinels operate on its fringes. They are clandestine operatives, little more than alleyway backstabbers. I find them wholly unnecessary. As you might expect, they are the Consul's pet project. Straightforward. I was trained from a young age under the tutelage of Supreme Arbiter Marthana Andros, alongside my co-protege. Only those rated most highly on the Protectorate Acumen test could be placed even among the ranks of arbiters. And to be mentored by the Supreme Arbiter herself was a great honor. Moreover, she taught her proteges to seek out evidence before judging as they saw fit, despite the fact that an arbiter needs nothing of the sort to declare something a crime. An arbiter would never abuse their power. Every action we take is on behalf of the Sovereign and upholding the Protectorate. In any other society, I could see such a scenario resulting in anarchy, but the Protectorate is matriarch ordained. Our devotion is ironclad. Why would they need to? The Protectorate provides everything any individual could want. Anything beyond the norm is unnecessary at best and actively traitorous at worst. As the Protectorate's most elite, we proteges needed to be able to think flexibly and adapt to situations that faced us should they require adaptation. At least, I believe that's why. Would that I could still ask her. Alas. Sneer all you like, but our society has operated in this manner for more than 100 years. Normally, arbiters do not need to prosecute, for all operate as they should. Ask, and I shall answer.
If x is the square root of -1, and you distribute the two binomials together, then the coefficient is... Oh, sorry. Help you with something? Happy to provide unbiased observational data. Ah, your young colleague. Competent, practical, crack shot. Saddened by his years of isolation, but also honed like me. He would be a formidable target of assassination. Oh, he seems like a nice young man, dear. You want me to say something nice, dear? He has good taste in adventure cereals, I suppose. Otherwise, no redeeming qualities. She has an aptitude for killing, although it's quantity over quality with her. I'm glad she's on our side, but I'm still sleeping with my goggles on proximity alert mode. She possesses surprising scientific aptitude, particularly in the medical field. Good to see she's finally recognized her true value. Auntie's choice never deserved her. Her model is a design classic, and the aftermarket mods she received from Niles are most impressive. We'd be dead many times over without her. She makes me laugh more than anyone. Inquire away. I may even respond. Sometimes, with purpose. Don't you as well? Do you draw some moral distinction between avenging harm and nipping it in the bud beforehand? Between covert and overt means? When all is said and done, are those in your ledger any less dead than mine? Had a sense you felt that way. We'll see if situations force that to change. Some were proprietary. Often they involved forms of subtle persuasion, others more overt influence. Now and again, more direct means were required. Whatever's on your mind. Oh, I am a dedicated member of the Order. Beyond that, there's really little you or anyone need to hear about. Consider yourself lucky. You already know more about me than anyone else I've met in the last 20-odd years. I see you're not going to let this lie, are you? Fine. Suppose I'll elaborate. Slightly. I mentioned before I was part of the Department of Preemptive Causal Redirection. My role there, you may recall, was head intercessor. I was tasked to influence pivotal events, to keep the solving of the equation on track. Something occurred. I needed to step off the board a while. Dorado appealed to me because it was off the board but not completely remote. There I could lie low for a time, but observe. So I'd believed. Our department was shuttered shortly after Ruth Pissar took office. To avoid undue attention, I remained in hiding. To put it mildly, after the incident in question, seeking refuge seemed prudent. Do you now? Let's hear it. Another crack like that, and you might just find out. Our department employed a variety of methods to obviate hindrances and threats to the Order's efforts. We were considered wardens of the grand plan, helping correct it when needed. All of us are part of the plan. We follow the path intended for us by the architect. We should, at least. Now and then, some push back against their path, but it never ends well. Corrections can take time, even delay in the solving of the equation. That's where we came in, to get things back on track in the timeliest of manners. I'm not hearing a question. Presiding Bishop Orlo, yes, Ruth Pissar's predecessor, and better. Now there was a scientician, a true adherent to Order principles, ran an efficient operation to boot. For a while, I'd hoped all this recent brouhaha, the schism, invasion, the rifts, was part of some long-foreseen predictive plan on her part, something oblique only at the moment. The more time passes, the less I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt. Maybe I'm missing a few key variables, or maybe she's a bit mathematically challenged. Are you asking me to reveal details of high-level covert operations? For the former head of the Order? To you, an agent for another party? I doubt you're willing to offer me a thorough accounting of your past assignments, and I bet the Earth Directorate had you on all sorts of clandestine initiatives. I'm not saying never, but we only just met, dear. Trust takes time. Because all the good mathematical terms were already taken by my predecessors? Because nothing gets past me, someone once thought, perhaps. I'm sure I don't know, dear. Whoever came up with that particular sobriquet is surely long since dead and buried, hopefully by my hand. I try to kill only when necessary. Granted, our missions mean that occurs fairly often. I assume that's in line with your thinking, too. Yes? Yes, this verbal resolution thing is, well, quite novel. I'm amazed how often it actually works. Keep expecting half these hullheads to argue themselves into an early grave. Suppose you can ask. Happier? Me? Really? I suppose that is an applicable term. Hope it's not getting in the way of the work. Are you satisfied with my performance? Anything to note? I tend to agree, though I didn't see things that way before. Thank you. May the plan favor us against long odds.
If there's anything worse than my former fellow Protectorate subjects, it's corporate toadies. Who exactly? Niles? He's fun to torment. I mean, he's equal parts enthusiastic and naive, even with all he's gone through. I find her amusing, in a best not to torment her or she'll kill us all kind of way, which I completely respect. Of course I do. What's not to like? To envy? Her style, her lethality? Oh, she's a professional for architect's sake. I wish I'd known about her department when I was growing up. Even as a child, I know they'd have seen my potential. Tristan's a standard issue arbiter, albeit with an extra slathering of arrogance, especially when it comes to ensuring the Protectorate's inane laws are followed without question. But as long as that ridiculously large hammer of his isn't pointed in my direction, I could watch him administer justice all day. Though he'd be loath to admit it, his propensity for violence almost matches my own. Not only does she possess more heart than your standard corporatist flunky, she's a great deal smarter as well. Don't tell her I said so. She's fortunate she ran into you. Otherwise, I've no question she'd have died from her graft, still cluelessly devoted to aunties despite her intelligence. Such as?
Ah, Commander. Caught me cogitating. I was just thinking about making some tweaks to Val. Hoping it'll help. You know your automechs. All of the above, more or less. Val's old in automech years, so she requires a lot of routine maintenance to prevent her hardware systems from deteriorating further. If that's a serious question, answer's no. She's got plenty of safeguards in place that would prevent her from harming any members of the crew, you included. Most times I find working on Val relaxing, actually. Meditative. It's nice being able to identify a problem and just fix it. Which is precisely why I take care of the maintenance around these parts. Val saved my life after Horizon Point, and she's been saving my life every day since. Partly, I'm just glad to return the favor, even if I am just putting off the inevitable. Anyway, I've taken up enough of your time yammering, but thanks for stopping by.
Commander, need some alone time for now.
Marisol's something, huh? She had everyone fooled, and then she turns around, exposes Svoboda for what she is, and reveals herself to be the endpoint. What kind of name even is that? She reminds me of the serial heroes I wanted to be just like when I was a kid. I'd tell her if I thought she'd appreciate it. That's a step too far. And anyway, I think she'd pat me on the head and say, "That's nice, dear," like she's cooing at a Raptidon pup that fell asleep in its food bowl. Anyway, this is me saying I think she was a good get. Much better having her in our corner than staring down the barrel of her gun, that's for certain. She's probably already got bugs listening in on us, so we ought to just stop there. Oh, I see. You're here to gossip. All right, let's hear it. Who do you want to talk about? Seems friendly enough, if a mite guarded and a little thick-headed in his view of Auntie's choice. Regardless, I can assure you I'll treat him with the same respect I show you. Though I reckon he's seen his fair share of struggles over the years, no matter how he tries to hide it. Think he ought to ask for help when he needs it. Not only is he a couple smokes short of a pack, he's also insufferable. I try, Commander, but boy, he makes it difficult. Who knows? Could be that he could change for the better if he breaks free of that protectorate nonsense he's intoxicated with. But I won't hold my breath. Oh, I got a lot of choice words that would have even Val covering her audio receptors, so I'll spare you most of them. I just hope we don't regret letting Azza on board. She ain't right in the head. She's damn near bloodthirsty. I'll keep my distance when I can, but I promise you, if I perceive even a hint of threat from her, I will deal with it. Ain't often you see an elder solving an equation with one hand and stabbing someone in the eye with the other. So the real question is, does she get along with me? I sure hope so. I'm keen to learn about her, though I reckon she's more of an abacus than an open book. Set in her ways, methodical. And law help you if you jostle her. Fine by me. The number of folks seeking refuge from the war is, well, it's beyond what I expected. And beyond what the Order is capable of handling, seems like. Andes may not be faring much better here, but we could at least find enough work for these folk to buy some food. You sure? He seems more concerned with the Order's reputation than anything else. It's a tough situation, that's all I'm saying. But if the Order can't even manage tens of folk at their doorstep, they ain't gonna manage much better should they win the war. I'd like to believe that, but frankly, I got some other concerns. I went through this myself when Auntie's Choice took over Tau Ceti. It took time to secure the merger, but once they did, we folk got the help we needed real quick. And all they wanted in return was the signing of an employment contract. Now, I ain't seeing any contracts in Matriarch's mercy, so what is the Order actually gaining by doing this? The thought has crossed my mind, though I reckon we might have seen concrete proof of that by now. Anyhow, if the Order is in fact helping these folk with no hidden aims, then, well, I'll be the first to admit that there might just be merit in what they're selling. Appreciate you hearing me out. How personal are we talking? Yeah, figured you might. I want to say up front that I got nothing against you or your crew. Ain't one to judge the firearm by its plating. And so far, you ain't given me reason to doubt your character. But the Earth Directorate itself, it's got much to answer for. The Earth Directorate swore a promise to every colony out there. That if you plea for help, help will come. Maybe not immediately, but you know, maybe sometime this decade. But that's all a heap of shit. You know how many of us in Tau Ceti tried to send messages? And when that didn't work, how we begged the stars for the Earth Directorate to save us? They never responded. Never showed up. Not when I was a child, certainly not by the time Auntie's Choice came around. You ask me, you're selling folk a lie. I know that. I see you doing all you can to help folk. Look, I ain't holding you to account for the Earth Directorate's ills. No more than anyone would hold me to those of Auntie's Choice. We're our own people. No matter how often I'm hit in the face with that fact, with you, with Ethel, it's rather easy to forget at times. But talking through this reminds me. And I appreciate it, Commander. Nor do I. Fine by me. Trying real hard not to be insubordinate-like, Commander. But this Azza, she ain't right in the head. We got enough to worry about as it is, and adding this much chaos to our little crew can't end well. You sure we ought to be helping her? There's a difference between daydreaming about smacking sense into someone and actually endeavoring to disembowel them. I'll try to keep an open mind, Commander. But if she comes at me with a knife, I ain't gonna be the one left bleeding. Anyway, appreciate you hearing me out. So, Arbiter Rao. I can sympathize with his plight to some extent. Dead mentor, apparent cover-up, sure, I'd be mad too. But why do we have to be the ones to help him? Hasn't he got any other Protectorate hullheads to come to his aid? Maybe I ought to spell this out. I'm his enemy, Commander, and he's mine. Letting him aboard is putting both of us in a bad spot. Yeah, but do the rest of us deserve to be put at risk? I ain't just saying this to be contrary, Commander. If he actually agrees to keep the peace, then fine, but I still gotta maintain due diligence. You should too. Anyway, appreciate you hearing me out. Don't mind me, just hydrating my scales. Law, ain't that a sentence? Got something that needs doing, Commander?
Bits. Bet you can't eat just one. Accident with 3 kinds of fiber: soluble, insoluble, and inconsolable.
Inez's grafts are unthinkable. Simply to get ahead, Auntie's Choice expected her to permanently manifest a raptidon limb? A crabble claw? Sovereign's mercy. It appears she lives a life of constant self-maintenance, lest her grafts break down. Not to mention the discomfiture and pain of bearing a foreign edition. Not that it bothers me. She is an enemy of the Protectorate, after all. We would never afflict one of our own with such a fate. Your pet mechanical has been something of a nuisance lately. She bludgeoned me on multiple occasions, and earlier she came at me with a live electrical prod. I suspect I should be annoyed, yet I find myself nostalgic. It reminds me of my Academy pain tolerance seminars. minus the broken fingers. Though I know it to be a lost cause, I must ask, mightn't there be some way to teach that cultist some sovereign forsaken manners? I caught her rifling through my belongings earlier, and though I gave her a stern admonishment, she merely walked off and said I was a boot-licking slackwit. Well, next time, if she expects to get off without a multiple-hour lecture on the sanctity of an arbiter's property, she'll be sorely mistaken. I am prepared for anything that is to come. Speak freely.
Yes, dear. Anything on your mind?
May all.
Need some alone time for now.
Daily fire needs. If packaging is also consumed. Anti-Cleo and Powell's bolt rockets.
Commander,
Buy from me and live to tell your fellows about my store.
Yeah.
I think I misplaced a hand grenade. We'll know in a couple seconds if it's armed or not. Browse all you like. Everything I've got is fine-tuned to perfection. Feel free to go on a murderous rampage with what you buy. It's good publicity.
Protect your loved ones, protect yourself. Buy some new armor today. Look, everyone else here? Nothing you buy from them will matter if you get killed. So armor up. Tell me what you need. Can do.
My contraptions don't explode no more. Honest. Hello once more. I guarantee you some of my inventions will be working soon. In the meantime, I've plenty of miscellanea for sale. Be happy to show you. Buy from me, please?
Hey, Commander. Can we talk? Promise it'll be quick. I wanted to apologize for the way I handled things after Greater Tranquility. I still feel my anger was justified, but I could have been more tactful. I've also given some thought to what you said about seeking peaceful resolutions. Don't know if that'll be possible at the end of all this, but I'll try and stay open to it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. We can get back to the mission now. Only felt right to clear the air. I've learned the hard way what happens when you leave things to fester. Sure, always happy to tool around for a bit. What did you have in mind?
Hello once more. Be happy.
Got Inez moved into Helen's old quarters. I figure, if anyone's unlikely to be vexed by finding fossilized purpleberry crunch in their mattress, it's an Auntie's Choice trooper. You think Helen would approve of us taking on a product pusher? Yeah, suppose you're right. They'd have matched wits well enough. Always up for a little backfence talk, though I'm guessing you don't mean Val. Can't say I know her well enough to have much in the way of an opinion. She seems capable, and shockingly, she hasn't tried to sell me anything yet. It's been a treat watching her break free from her corporate overlords. Auntie's Choice has never had her back, or her best interests at heart. Well, he hasn't brought the hammer down upon us yet, so I suppose that's something. I still wouldn't play the odds on him choosing us over the Protectorate if it came right down to it, but I'd be happy to be proven wrong there. Underneath that friendly old lady facade, Marisol's a killer. Best we not forget that. Future's always changing, though. Who knows? Maybe Marisol will surprise us. In a good way, I mean. Not in a surprise attack kind of way. I hope. I think she'd have a hell of a time passing the Directorate psychological screening. Don't much care for all her talk about disembowelment, neither. Truth be told, I don't know her all that well. Reckon she's unmoored and grabbing for anything that feels like purpose. Same as the rest of us. At least that's what I would say if I was feeling charitable. Most days, I'd send her out the airlock if it came to a vote. Sure thing. I trust you've got particulars in mind. Oh yeah? What's needling you? Shit. Knew I was forgetting something. They're all yours if you want them. I had some trouble adjusting in the years after Horizon Point. I was in pain more times than I wasn't. Had trouble sleeping. The drinks helped. Until they didn't. For those first few years, every time I laid down and closed my eyes, I went back there, to Horizon Point. I'd swear I could feel the explosion again, the heat coming at me. I'd wake suddenly in the middle of the night, startling at nothing, sweating like I'd run a race. Sometimes Zeb set up with me. He told me I'd get better with time, and I did. The sedatives he was occasionally able to get his hands on didn't hurt neither. Anyway, that was the past. I'm good now. I found other ways to cope. Healthier ones. I'm not sure anyone would consider that healthy. When I'm not out there heroically saving the colony, I like to tinker around the ship or work on Val. I exercise. Been considering taking up cross-stitch. What do you think? I'll try to avoid poking out any eyes. Was there anything else you needed, Commander? Glad you stopped by. I had something I wanted to ask you. Now that we're out of pulping distance, are you sure about recruiting that Arbiter? That hammer's a fine piece of weaponry, sure enough. But how much can we trust the hand wielding it? I'm flattered. But if there's any match to be made for a Directorate agent, you've just brought him onto our ship. Armed. Arbiters ain't like us. Facts matter less to them than personal judgments. Once the boulder's going, someone's getting crushed. I've seen it happen more than once. Yeah, right up until he decides we need a little judging too. I'm guessing you didn't come here to talk about Rao, though. So what's on your mind? Oh yeah? What's needling you? Marisol settling nicely? Well, I assume so. I'm actually a little scared to ask. She's like a character from the Zane and Buddy serials come to life. I mean, the end point? Tell me that don't just scream lead ne'er-do-well in a suspenseful two-parter. Maybe don't tell her I said that, though. I'm all for giving folks a chance, but a cultist, Commander? Really? Sure, about as harmless as a failing air recycler. Leaving all else aside, the problem is that we don't know this woman, and she's not giving us much cause to trust her. In fact, I say it's just the opposite. All right, Commander, I'll play nice, but only because you asked. Anyway, need something, Commander? Whatever you need, Commander, just name it.
Commander, a moment of your time, if you would.
Marisol Delgado has been added to the ship roster and has claimed her quarters. This unit has also been informed by Agent Delgado that she is not to be disturbed while resting unless the ship is on fire, and even then only if it nears my quarters. The cultist known as Azza has been admitted to the ship roster. Among her registered weapons is what she refers to as her disemboweling knife. This unit reminds the commander that anticoagulants are your first line of defense when injury occurs. Initializing socialization. How may this unit assist you, Commander?
Commander, I'm glad I managed to intercept you before we left. There's something of utmost importance I wish to discuss. Relax, Commander. You are not under my authority to judge. Though if you were, that phrase alone would have certainly seen you hauled off to mental refreshment. I received a message from a close friend of mine, Virgil. He was my co-protege under the Supreme Arbiter. His message claimed he had information relevant to the Supreme Arbiter's death. He wishes to meet with me at the Vox Relay on Paradise Island. You asked before, and I did not mention it, but with Virgil's message, I now must warn you. Our greatest suspect in the Supreme Arbiter's murder is the Protectorate's consul. I suspect you refer to the relay's recent launch. Virgil likely expects to meet with us at the base of the facility. It does seem a strange place to have a reunion, but I trust Virgil has his reasons. I doubt they've anything to do with the perfidy that recently occurred there. Fine, but keep it close in mind if you would.